Now listen, there are three waves of the Leo Aquarius axis alignment. The alignment that is on the Leo and Aquarius axis, and these three waves are signaled by the creative completion of three. Creative completion of three. Not that it starts it, but it is on this day that I was getting the information about it, which is on the 22nd. The 22nd is a 3, the date code of 3, which is a creative completion. And this message of the creative completion highlights the three waves of the Leo Aquarius alignment. And as I always like to say, all great things come in threes, because threes are the trinity that is the manifestation into visibility for humanity. This is why we are 3D, because on the 3D, it is the first main dimensional portal in the 369 that is the creative completion that brings everything into visibility. So I want us to understand that when we see 3, it is not mere simplicity. It is a huge breakthrough. It is a huge coming through on the third dimension, for us to recognize things on the third dimension, right? Not the shadows of 3D, but on the third dimension, where we are existing on this plane, although we are really in the fifth dimension in time, right? So with that said, these three waves I really want to share and go into this so we can see the importance of this Leo Aquarius alignment and how it's activated. This axis is continually being activated. At least for the next year, we're going to see this. For the next 18 months, but very strongly within the next year, as Leo sits in the house or the month of Leo, as Jupiter sits in the house of Leo, which is also known on the 5D calendar as Heru. So let me go ahead and share this download with you, and we'll kind of go into point out some other sets of 3, because as I went through this, I also came across another content. I can't remember his name, but there were 3 days important to look out for, and I believe it was Mercury retrograde, the full moon, and 8/8 Lionsgate, which is really Halls of Amenti for those who are comedically inclined. But these are, yes, 3 important days. So I saw yet another 3 waves. And if you saw the video also before this, where I'm talking about the harmony of duality with the sparks of the 2 planets within the basket, the 2 planets that were in exact alignment in the cosmic basket, that happened 3 times between those particular planets. So we're seeing these waves of 3 hitting back to back to back, coming upon the shores of our collective consciousness, specifically for those who are in 5D and those who have eyes to see. So with that said, there's a creative completion that brings into visibility the 5D expansion in consciousness, which amplifies the cosmic alignment of the Leo Aquarius axis, AXIS, and interweaves the evolution of humanity into the Aquarian age, as well as ushering us into the 5th dimension. But more specifically, it's really interweaving us into this evolution as we are moving into this age and evolving more into the Aquarian age. This axis is that important, particularly when the North Node hits it. So, but we'll get to that. So let's talk about the first wave. The first wave is the Jupiter in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius opposition alignment at 4 degrees in the cosmic basket. As this open act, it is the open act and precursor for this triple wave activation. So it is the first wave, it's the opening act, it's introduction time. So it's introducing us, and as I say, it's like the red carpet as well. I mentioned that before. This 444 alignment with Jupiter in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius is like rolling out the red carpet for this entire triple wave activation and this entire evolutionary movement with Leo and Aquarius. So that is the first one. That's the first wave. The second wave, This is a major one. The second one seemed to be really major because even in the video with the two planets that sparked, it was the second one that was most important, which happened to be the Leo and Aquarius alignment. So this second wave is the nodes of fate that shift from South Node Virgo, North Node Pisces to South Node Leo, North Node Aquarius for the next 18 months of this next ecliptic cycle, because the nodes are affiliated, if you can say that. The nodes are affiliated with the eclipse because it's on the nodes of fate are on the ecliptic line, the eclipse where the sun and the moon meets, if that makes sense. This is the body of work. This right here is the quote unquote body of work, middle acts that will be the main operating tools to nudge humanity with each ecliptic window of the solar and lunar eclipse moons within the next 18 months. So what are we saying? It is this nudge every time we have an eclipse window, which we have one coming up real soon, the next full moon, and going into the new moon in Leo, we're going to have a solar eclipse. So every time we have a solar and lunar eclipse within the next 18 months, it's going to be aligned. It's going to be pulling tighter, the alignment between Leo and Aquarius, further pulling us. It's activating that balance that is to be had for us to evolve through the nodes, meaning South Node in Leo, coming away from the ignorance of self, coming away from the pompousness, the pride of the lower self, extracting that self and coming into the higher essence of self. That's the South Node in Leo, is getting rid of the shadows in Leo, right? Which would be that selfish self. Spotlight can only be on me type of self. But instead it's going to bring it into the higher awareness of self that gives you pride and courage in being creative within yourself, having the bravery to move by yourself, do the works that we need to do by ourselves for the greater good of the collective. So this is where that balance, that harmony, and I'll go more into that when I speak on, I'm going to do a video about the nodal shifts changing. But it is bringing that into North Node Aquarius, where that is our destined coordinates, where we are to be heading. That is bringing us into an evolved state, into the Aquarian age, right? So when we are better with ourselves, we are better for humanity, to pour that essence of your higher self into the true timeline collective of humanity. So that's what is being meant when it says we're nudging humanity with each one. So imagine that within the 18 months, each lunar and solar eclipse within these 18 months are going to be nudging us in and pulling us tighter into this evolution of this particular axis between Leo and Aquarius. So that's what's going to be happening in those next months. This second wave is the most important, as it is the main alignment feature that the first and third wave solidifies. So it's the main part. This is why it is the main body of work. 18 months of sifting into the shift. It's going to be some more sifting. It's the nodal evolution, and the nodal evolution elevates. So as we evolve with this nodal axis, it's going to be elevating us. So this is a major wave, the second one. The third wave is the full moon in Aquarius in opposition to the sun in Leo, and that is going to be happening on the 29th. Leo as the closing act, right? So we had our opening act, we had our main act, and now we have the closing act that culminates the awakening to this Leo Aquarius axis alignment and welcomes this nodal evolution that pulls humanity into balance. So this full moon is going to be the culmination, the closing act of these three waves. 1, 2, 3, creative completion, bringing it into what? Manifested visibility. And this happening right after coming out of the 444 planets at 4 degrees. So we're seeing so much that is preparing us. And as I said, there's another one. You may see the video somewhere. I can't remember the name, but he's talking about the next 3 waves to be looking at is Mercury retrograde going direct. That's a major thing that is happening right now as I speak to you. The last day on the 23rd, that we are going to be coming out of this retrograde. And so Mercury is saying it's closed out its review and now it is time to go through. And then the next thing is going to be that full moon. So even he has the full moon as his second wave, as I have the full moon here as the third wave. So these waves are definitely layered, as you can see. And so that shows you that the full moon is definitely important because you're seeing that it's layered with another set of 3 waves, right? So that would be the second wave, and the third that he has is the 8-8 Lionsgate. And that is a very important Lionsgate. It is going to be as major or more major than the one we had in 2024. And so we'll speak about that some more as we go closer into that. So these 3 waves are preparing us for what is to come. The 3 waves that I mentioned to you right now are preparing us and activating this evolution on the Leo and Aquarius axis that is bringing us deeper into the evolution of the Aquarian age. So with that said, get on your axis, see what it means to you, see if you have any placements here that are going to be working tightly with you on this Leo axis, especially if you have a south node, north node in either Leo or Aquarius. It is going to definitely be activating your nodal evolution in time. Peace, love, and light.